Hello and welcome to another edition of Grey Wolves Baseball here at the Mount Campus Community College of Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Gresham Grey Wolves Baseball Live. I'm Evan Giddings, coming to you here live in Gresham, Oregon on the campus of Mount Hood Community College at the always beautiful Osland Field. As the Grey Wolves get set to take on the Walla Sweets in the first game of this three-game series, the Sweets coming into the game are 15-12, and your Gresham Grey Wolves are 10-14, 4.5 games back in the Southern Division of the West Coast League. As the Gresham Grey Wolves get set to take the field, we'll take you through a little bit of that last six-game road trip they had. Their third road trip on the season went quite well, much more successful than their previous two. As their previous two road trips, they were only able to garner one victory. However, were able to get their first road series win against the Yakima Valley Pippins. That was last week. Took the first two ball games, and after splitting a pair in their first series, they rode a trio of fantastic performances from its pitching staff to a series win in Bremerton as well against the Kitsap Blue Jackets. A 3-run eighth inning that did the trick in Game 1 as the offense finally came around to give starter Spud Heidemann and his bullpen some run support. Spud Heidemann that game went 7 innings and earned the win. And then finally, a trio of runs gave the Grey Wolves a 4-1 lead that they would hang on to throughout the final two frames of that ball game. So Spud Heidemann got the win in that one, and Jake Boyd collected his first save of the season for the Grey Wolves. In the second game, it was both the offense and defense that were able to fire on all cylinders as the Grey Wolves cruised to a 7-0 shutout victory. Starting pitcher Ryan Luchek took a perfect game into the bottom of the 7th inning before Kitsap finally broke up the bid with a single. And now on the bump tonight for the Grey Wolves, as they have taken the field and are just about set for first pitch here at Osland Field, will be Gabe Benavides, the left-hander from Grand Canyon University, a 6'2", 285-pound sophomore left-hander from Wilcox, Arizona. As we're just about set to go, the leadoff hitter Jaron Dunn due up for the Walla Sweets. As Benavides now has the ball, toes the rubber, just about set for game time here at Osland Field. Starting to line up for the Walla Sweets, Jaron Dunn. Second, Alex Moosey. Batting third, Willie McIver. Cleaning up, Cole Rutherford as the first pitch of the ball game is a fastball that misses low. 1-0. Batting fifth, it'll be Patrick Chung. Batting sixth, Ben Baird for the Sweets. Batting seventh and DHing for Walla is Ryan Johnson. Batting eighth, Connor Doyle. And finishing it off, Zach Weiss, batting ninth this afternoon. As the second pitch of the ball game on the way, fastball misses high, 2-0. As Gabe Benavides so far this season, 22 1/3 innings, a 4.83 ERA, and a 1-2 record. Although has picked things up in his last couple of starts, as this one is fouled off for the first strike of the ball game. 2 balls and a strike. Made his last appearance actually just a couple days ago against Kitsap in that 7-0 victory that I just alluded to. As now we're going to have a quick stoppage of play. It looked like the right fielder at that time, Ryan Glazner, or rather Josh Adams, found a ball out there probably from batting practice out near the ivy, so he went and collected that and threw that ball in. Nonetheless, back to Benavides as he has also collected 17 strikeouts and has just surrendered 7 walks so far this season. So that's going to be the name of the game here, not allowing any free base runners as he fires at a strike on the inside corner, 2-2. Has allowed 34 hits, however, and that's really where he's struggled a bit. Allowed 10 runs back on June 20th, 10 hits, back on June 20th to the Yakima Valley Pippins. As this is swung on a miss, a breaking ball tipped into the glove right there, Matt Cairo for the first out of this ball game. Nice pitch there from Benavides. As so far, he's been able to collect a strikeout in every game this season except for the one against the Pippins. 10 hits, 5 earned runs, and that was really his worst start of the season. But since then has been able to really climb out of the depths as this one has popped up over the left side by Alex Moosey, and it's 0-1. Went 4 1/3 against the Wenatchee Apple Sox back on the 26th. Did allow 6 runs, but only 3 of them earned. As he also collected 4 strikeouts in that game, and now bends a slider on the inside corner, quickly 0-2. Started off the year strong. 7-inning outing against the Cowlitz Black Bears, as this one is bounced in the dirt 1-2. That's when he got his first win and is still looking for it. Nearly a month to the day. That was back on June 6th. It's actually interesting. He ended up getting the loss in his best game of the season against Victoria when he went 6 shutout innings and ended up with the loss as he allowed an unearned run. It's now the pitch on the way to Musi. Ground ball over to the right side. It's going to be Jordan Barkus, the second baseman, who has it over to first base in time, 2 away. Defensive alignments for the Grey Wolves tonight. In the outfield left to right will be Mark Cardinelli, Ryan Smith, and Josh Adams. On the infield left to right, Zach Johnson over at third, Dylan Dougherty at shortstop, Jordan Barkus at second, and Nick Snyder at first with Matt Cairo behind the plate, and of course Gabe Benavides on the bump. And so now it'll be Willie McIver coming to the plate with 2 down here in the top of the first inning. As the first pitch on the way from Benavides, a changeup swung on and missed. Might have pulled the string that time, and it's 0-1. So being able to kind of capture some more confidence while on the road. Hopefully going to be able to take that mindset as Benavides fires and pops this one up over to the right. Going to be into shallow right field. Here comes Josh Adams, and he will make the catch to retire the side. So 1-2-3, the Walla Walla Sweets go down here in the top of the first inning, and we'll take a quick break here on Gresham Grey Wolves Baseball Live here. No score as we go to the bottom of the first.
Baseball camp right here at Awesome Field, July 20th through July 22nd. It's a great opportunity to develop your skills, have fun, and learn from the Gresham Grey Wolves players. Registration is $45 per child, open to all ages 5 through 16. You can register online at www.greshamgraywolves.com.
And so now we return to action here in the bottom of the first inning with the Grey Wolves coming to the plate. Batting 1 through 9 for the Grey Wolves. Leading it off, it's Dylan Dougherty, followed by Jeffrey Mitchell Jr., Zach Johnson, Nick Snyder batting 4th with Josh Adams behind him. Batting 6th, Ryan Smith. Batting 7th, Mark Cardinelli. Batting 8th, Matt Cairo. And batting 9th, Jordan Barkus. As the starting pitcher for the Walla Walla Sweets, Jackson Week is on the bump, and he fires in a first pitch strike here to Dylan Dougherty, 0-1. Week, the 6-foot, 175-pound left-hander from Woodstock, Georgia. In fact, has one of the most solid pitchers in the West Coast League this season as he misses with a breaking ball outside there, 1-1. Looking to become the very first 5-0 pitcher or the 5-win pitcher in the West Coast League this summer season, as he's 4-0, the 1.82 ERA, as this one is popped up over down the left field line by Dougherty, but is going to get out of play into the bullpen. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 29 2/3 innings for Jackson Week. 25 strikeouts to just 9 walks, and only 27 hits surrendered. His whip is down to a 1.2, and that's something that is on the scouting report in terms of Week. His ability to keep runners off base, as this is laced down the right field line, but going to be foul. Tim Gerkman, the field umpire, called it foul by just a couple inches, and no response there from Dougherty. Must have been just a couple inches off that chuck. I thought I saw something fly. Apparently must have been grass, as that one goes foul, and the count remains 1-2. So now Weegs got the ball back. Dougherty's back in the plate. 1-2 pitch on the way. Curveball low and away. That misses. 2 balls and 2 strikes. In his last outing, we went 8 shutout innings, only allowed 3 hits and struck out 10 with no walks in a 1-0 victory against Bend. A very impressive outing for him, as this one is flipped into left field, but playable right there for the left fielder, Connor Doyle, as he takes a couple steps in. And there's one away here in the bottom of the first.
Now batting the DH, number 6.
So Dougherty is retired, and that will bring Jeffrey Mitchell Jr. to the plate. Over his last 7 games, hasn't necessarily been as hot. 294, and that's an impressive statement there for someone not hitting as well. A 294 average still, 5 hits in his last 17 at-bats in 4 games. Also an extra base hit, got himself a double and a couple walks. And now shows bunt, pops this one up, and nearly barehanded there by the catcher, Willie McIver. That would have been a spectacular play, as it just tips off the bare hand right out stretch of the fingertips. And that'll go for strike 1. So an interesting strategy there from Jeffrey Mitchell Jr. As the third baseman that time, Jared Dunn, playing at least 3 steps back beyond the third base bag and tried to get one over on this sweet defense, as this fastball now catches the outside edge. 0-2 here to Mitchell Jr. On the season, Mitchell Jr. is leading the team in virtually every single offensive category, as he takes a fastball high here, 1-2. Batting average, .346, 27 hits, 3 doubles. Not as many RBIs, second on the team with 6 RBIs, as now Week has his sign. Kicks and fires, breaking ball, laced through the left side, and it's going to give past 2 diving defenders into left field. Jeffrey Mitchell Jr. with the first base knock on the afternoon for the Gray Wolves, and it's a single through the left side.
Now batting the third baseman.
Jared Dunn dove to his glove hand side. Ben bared the shortstop to his backhand, as that one was able to turn itself into a ground ball with eyes there, as Doyle, the left fielder, had to play it in. And now Zach Johnson, one of the hottest hitting Gray Wolves, will come to the plate. 375 over this last week, a home run and 5 RBIs. As in fact, I believe the majority of those statistics came in 1 game, as Week misses inside 1-0. In fact, 1 week to the day last Sunday here at Austin Field, Zach Johnson went 4 for 4. Nearly had himself a cycle. 2 singles, a double, and a home run with 4 RBIs. As now the pitch on the way from Weig, swung on a missed changeup, waved over that one, and it's 1-1. So now with 1 out and a runner on first base, Jackson Weig has his sign. Continuing to pitch from the stretch, and that's something I noticed during his warm-up pitches, as there's a pickoff attempt over to first base, but no tag on Mitchell, who's in standing up. Pitching out of the windup the whole game. Toes it from the left side of the rubber, the third base side, I should say. A high leg kick, not necessarily a variation in his timing, as the left-handers typically don't need to do that, as he misses outside there 2-1. However, Weig kind of adjusting his pauses and the length of time in his holds with Jeffrey Mitchell Jr. on first base. Seven stolen bases for Mitchell, as he is back in safely. Another pickoff attempt there by Weig, not in time. Second on the team to Michael Breen. Of course, the utility infielder not in the starting lineup today. And so he takes his lead from first. And now he takes off. Swung on and missed, and catcher cannot hold on to it. Kind of came out on the transfer. Willie McIver dropped the ball, but it's going to go down for strike 2. Now 2-2. However, Mitchell Jr. collects his 7th stolen base on the season, now in scoring position. So, right as we allude to that speed, Mitchell Jr. able to make something happen on the base pass. And now an opportunity and a 2-strike count, an RBI opportunity here for Jack Johnson. So now Weig checks back to second. Now fires. This one fouled off and over to the right side, out of play. Going to get on to 17th Street, looks like that time. Hopefully missed that truck that was driving by. 2-2. Johnson on the season, batting .250. 15 hits and 60 at-bats. A team leading 16 runs scored, as the University of Washington product has provided multiple offensive sparks since coming a couple weeks ago, and now is rung up on a curveball, backdoor on the outside corner, and Zach Johnson is retired on strikes for the second out of this inning. That's something that actually, in that scouting report that I mentioned a little earlier, is a pitch that Weig is going to try to utilize. Had an opportunity to talk to the broadcaster of the Walla Sweets, and he mentioned Weig's ability to place that backdoor breaking ball, especially against righties. As he now fires a fastball that misses low in the dirt here to Nick Snyder, batting cleanup this evening for the Gray Wolves, and it's 1-0. So we'll see if that's the go-to pitch there for Weig. He mentioned his ability to attack the zone with every single one of his pitches, fastball, changeup, slider, curve. But it looks like, especially against righties, that backdoor curveball is going to be a weapon here. As Nick Snyder takes another one, there's a backdoor breaking ball in for strike 1. In fact, actually might have been the slider that time, not necessarily a 12-6 break like the one we saw to Zach Johnson, but more of a tighter spin. There's now the 1-1 pitch on the way. That's a backdoor slider in for strike 2. This is Nick Snyder, batting .265 this season. In fact, has seen a lot more playing time as of late, as over the last 7 games, hitting .278. Respectable average as he taps this one foul, stays alive here as the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. In that same game that Zach Johnson hit his first home run of the season, actually it was Nick Snyder that homered earlier in that game that marked the very first home run this summer season for the Gresham Gray Wolves. Didn't exactly expect for it to take so long, as we've seen the power flashed every single day in batting practice, as well as a couple of close calls coming here at Awesome Field, as this one is now popped up over the right and will get out of play beyond the Sweets bullpen. Count remains 1-2. However, Snyder has been up to strikeouts, about 11, which is third most on the team, and just 1 walk. So a guy that likes to get up there and swing it, although he'll have to protect right here. With 1-2 count. Now fastball misses high, evens it up. Trying to find a way to either get on base or get that run in. Jeffrey Mitchell Jr. on second base. Thereafter, he singled in a 1-2 count and stole second. The newest member of the Gray Wolves, Josh Adams, on deck, as this one is waved at and missed. Strike 3 swung on Nick Snyder. Looked like another backdoor breaking ball. Now, so far, Jackson Weig has been able to utilize that outside part of the plate. And so we'll take a quick break here on Gresham Gray Wolves Baseball Live here at Awesome Field. Still no score after 1. And so now we return to action here at Austin Field on the campus of Mount Hood Community College. It'll be Cole Rutherford, Patrick Chung, and Ben Baird. 4-5-6 due up for the Walla Sweets here in the top of the second inning. Gabe Benavides out on the mound, done with his warm-up pitches, just about set to go. As the Grey Wolves are sporting their home whites. Black lettering with the gold trim on the numbers, as well as the Grey Wolves across the chest, as this one is swung on and missed 0-1. The Walla Sweets rocking their gray road uniforms. Solid lettering on the Sweets on the front, mixed in with a little red as well as a white outline, as this is low and in the dirt here to Rutherford, 1-1. It also seems like the majority of the Grey Wolves, if not all, are sporting the high socks. Pants rolled up, and that's kind of been their look all season with the white sanitaries and black stirrups, as this one is grounded to the shortstop. Dylan Doherty on the backhand over to first base in time, one away. So 4 up, 4 down so far for Benavides, as he had a quick 1-2-3 inning. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pitches there in that first inning, including a strikeout to the leadoff hitter, Jaron Dunn. And so now a lefty-on-lefty matchup. Patrick Chung coming to the plate. First pitch on the way here to Chung is a fastball that catches the outside corner. 0-1. Chung over his last week, not hitting too well. Just 2 for 12, a 167 average. As this one is swung on and missed. A nice breaking ball there on the outside corner, and quickly 0-2 here to the Sweets' second baseman. In general, over this last week, the Walla Sweets have not been hitting that well. That bats just simply have not come around, as a 214 team average, as this one is swung on and missed right there on the outside corner again, as Benavides 3 pitches, all 3 strikes here to Patrick Chung, and there's 2 outs here in the top of the second. So far making quick work here of this Sweets offense that, like I mentioned, is just batting .214 over the last week. And so now Ben Baird, the shortstop this afternoon for the Sweets, will come to the plate. Now the first pitch on the way here from Benavides is a fastball grounded over the third baseman, backhanded nicely on a short hop there by Zach Johnson, but fires it over down the right field line. As it's going to be Jordan Barkus going to retrieve it, and that will no doubtly go down as an E5. So Baird will advance to second base on the error there from Zach Johnson. That one just looked like it got away from him. A nice play. He came in on kind of a 2-hopper there from Ben Baird and got the short hop on the backhand. Took a long double pump, and that's sometimes where we see those throws get a bit erratic, as Zach Johnson sails that one down the right field line, and now a runner on second base here with 2 outs. So the DH to the plate, Johnson, he sprays this one right to the shortstop as Dylan Doherty collects it, goes to first base in time, handled a tough hop nicely. And another quick inning here for Gabe Benavides. Does allow a base runner as he strands one after one error in that inning by Zach Johnson. Nonetheless, gets his team to the plate as we will go to the bottom of the second inning. It'll be Josh Adams, Ryan Smith, and Mark Cardinale due up for the Grey Wolves after this quick break here on Gresham Grey Wolves Baseball Live.
Right fielder, number 32.
And now we return to action here in the bottom of the second inning here at Austin Field. It'll be the newest Gray Wolf hitter, Josh Adams, to the plate, a part of the UC Santa Barbara Gaucho team that was able to make itself all the way to the College World Series this past season. A very impressive season for UC Santa Barbara. In fact, making their very first appearance in the regionals in school history, as this one sails way outside, gets all the way to the backstop, and it's 1-0 to Josh Adams. In fact, he joined the team during the middle of the week. These last two games up in Belmont, I believe. 6 at-bats so far, not a base hit, although has drawn a walk and has been hit by a pitch as he laces this one over to the right side, but going to get foul past the first base coach there, Tony Pena. And it's 1-1. So Adams, primarily an outfielder. Going to see him a lot out in right field this season. 6'2", 210 pounds from Elk Grove, California, as he sprays this one back off the screen here. 1 ball and 2 strikes. In fact, his 2 games came against Kitsap, the very first team they played on this road trip. As now Weig has his sign, the left-hander from the stretch, kicks and fires, breaking ball right there on the inside corner. Josh Adams knew it as he heads right back to the dugout after the pitch was called. Strike 3, the third one already, and the third one in a row here for Jackson Weig. 2 of them looking so far as Zach Johnson fell victim to the backwards K back in the first inning. He was the third batter of the ball game. And now it'll be Ryan Smith coming to the plate. And it's now Ryan Smith batting .313 for the Gray Wolves on this season. He's really picked it up so far as he takes a fastball right there through the heart of the plate, 0-1. Batting .368 over this last week. Collected 7 hits on that road trip. 2 doubles, 4 RBIs. As he now takes a backdoor breaking ball on the outside corner, quickly 0-2. And so it looks like so far this strike zone, according to home plate umpire Andrew Burke, is going to be giving a little bit on that outside edge, as Jackson Weig has had no problem bending those breaking balls back across the outside edge. And that's something to keep an eye on going later into this ball game if the Gray Wolves are going to be able to make adjustments. As now Smith fights this one off down the third baseline, right past his head coach Justin Parkes, but it looks like we got firewood, as he will have to collect a new bat, get some new stick on there, and a quick pause here while Smith does that. And so it looks like now Ryan Smith has a new piece of lumber. And apart from going 0 for 4 on the 29th there against Kitsap, has collected a hit in his 14 out of his last 15 games. Looking to do that here as he takes a changeup outside and low. 1 ball and 2 strikes here to Smith. Also playing stellar defense out in center field. Really has made quite a few web gem plays out here at Osland Field. Can only imagine the amount of many he's been able to make on the road as he now fights this one on back off the glove there. Almost snagged that time by the catcher, Willie McIver. As the count remains 1-2. Defense shading Smith over to that right side. Infielders and outfielders a couple steps over as he fights this one back off the screen. Again, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Also has done a good job this season, Ryan Smith has, of getting on base, a .413 average so far this season, as he now lifts this one high out to left field, but going to be in the ballpark. Playable for Connor Doyle as he will range over to his right and makes the catch for 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. And so now Mark Cardinelli coming to the plate. He also had himself a very impressive road trip, going 8 for 16 through his 4 games played. A .500 average, obviously, but also collected 2 triples. We'll have to check that, but I believe 2 of the 6 on the season for the Gray Wolves. As Cardinelli, after 1 road trip, has got himself the team lead. A hard grounder, but right to the shortstop, Ben Barrett. He drops it, collects it in time to go to first base, and a strong throw to get Cardinelli by half a step. So 1, 2, 3, the Gray Wolves go down in turn as we head to the top of the third inning. And the Walla Walla Sweets will come to the plate. It'll be the bottom of the order. Connor Doyle, Zach Weiss, and Jaron Dunn due up on the top of the third. And again, we apologize for the mute noise during these commercial breaks, as due to technological difficulties so far today, and some of which we've had this season. Unfortunately, tonight we'll not be having commercials, so we apologize for the somewhat of dead air. Nonetheless, we hope you'll stay with us as we take a break here on Gray Wolves Live. Still no score. And now welcome back in here to the Gresham Ford broadcast booth here at Osland Field. It's going to be Connor Doyle to the plate, the left fielder for the Walla Walla Sweets, as Gabe Benavides is back out for his third inning of work. So far, not a lot of hit through the first two innings. One base runner has reached. Ben Baird came aboard in the last inning in the second, as now Doyle shows bunt but pulls back and takes a fastball low, 1-0. Ben Baird in the last inning reached second base after a throwing error from Zach Johnson, playing third base this afternoon for the Gray Wolves. And a solid crowd along hand for the July 4th weekend, as this one is sprayed out to deep right center field. Giving chase is Josh Adams. He's not going to be able to get there. One hops the ivy out in right center field, and it looks like Connor Doyle is going to have to hold up at second base as Adams plays it in nicely, but not before a leadoff double here for the Walla Walla Sweets to begin the third.
Right fielder, number 1, Zach Weiss.
And so now Zach Weiss will come to the plate, playing right field for Walla Walla, as that's the first hit of the ball game for the Sweets. And now it's going to be up to Gabe Benavides to work with runners in scoring position and nobody out. An opportunity, and really his first opportunity of adversity is faced here this afternoon. So far it was smooth sailings as he retired the Sweets 1-2-3 in the first. And apart from that, runner in the second also collected a strikeout. He's got 2 so far on the afternoon, as now a fake pickoff attempt to second base, but nobody's home as Doyle will coast in safely. And the Gray Wolves in this situation expecting the sacrifice bunt here from the 9-hole hitter Weiss. Taps that bat above his right shoulder and now shows bunt. Bunts one over to the right side, but fielded on the bare hand by Benavides, as he will pick it up and underhand it to first base, one away, but not before Connor Doyle advances to third base, as the job is done. A nice sacrifice bunt there from Zach Weiss. Gives himself up to move that runner over to third base, and now with one out, a strikeout situation with the leadoff hitter coming to the plate for the Walla Walla Sweets and Jaron Dunn. So far this season, as Jaron Duran, the sophomore from Cypress, California, batting .322 so far this season, steps in on the left-handed side and now swings. Ground ball over to the right. It's going to be Jordan Barkus playing back. Will let the run score as Walla Walla now takes the lead 1-0, but goes to first base to record the second out of the inning. And so the Gray Wolves up the middle, choosing to concede the run that time and allow it to score and give the Sweets an early lead here, but clearing the bases, and now with 2 outs, an opportunity to kind of keep the damage at just 1 run with Alex Mosey coming to the plate. Another lefty-on-lefty matchup as this one is grounded over, backhanded by Nick Snyder at first base. Covering at first base is Gabe Benavides, and a flip to him to retire this side. A 3-1 connection there from Snyder to Benavides to end this top of the 3rd inning and take us to the bottom half of the frame. It'll be the bottom of the order for the Grey Wolves in Cairo Barkis before turning it over to the top of the order in Dylan Doherty as we'll take a break here on Gresham Grey Wolves Baseball Live. The Sweets now have the lead, 1-0. And so now ready to go here in this bottom of the 3rd inning with Matt Carew leading it off for the Gresham Grey Wolves. Jackson Weig back on the bump for the Walla Walla Sweets in his 3rd inning of work, and so far he's been able to really chop through this Grey Wolf offense. Hopefully this second time around, after the bottom of the order concludes the 9-man lineup, if the Grey Wolves will be able to put something together. Just 1 hit so far to the first 7 batters of the ball game, and 3 strikeouts already for Jackson Weig. And so now the first pitch on the way here to Matt Carew. Fastball taken high, 1-0. And that's something so far that Weig simply hasn't done, which is throw ball 1. Has relatively been ahead in almost every single count. In fact, looking through my score sheet now, has not fallen behind to a single Grey Wolf hitter as this one is sprayed off the glove, dropped by Weig there at the mound, but picks it up and barehands it over to first base. A nice play there, kind of a soft line drive from Matt Carew right back up the box, and Weig, stumbling, kind of falling backwards, was able to get a glove on it. It dropped right on the rubber, and he was able to pick it up and from a knee throw out to first base to get Matt Carew for the first out of the bottom of the 3rd. So somewhat of a reactionary play there from Jackson Weig, nonetheless demonstrating the ability to field his position. As that'll be 1 out for the Grey Wolves, and now Jordan Barkis, the second baseman this afternoon, will come to the plate. Lefty-on-lefty matchup here as Weig has his sign. Collects himself, kicks and fires as this fastball misses high, 1-0. Barkis, the only member of the Grey Wolves lineup today, sporting a sleeve. Looks like a gray and white camo sleeve on the right arm, as well as an Evo shield as he now takes another fastball high. So 2-0 here to the Grey Wolves second baseman, who so far is hitting .265 this season in 11 games played. And now swings and fouls this one back off the screen here, 2 balls and a strike. As I mentioned, .265, 9 hits so far in 34 at-bats. Also 6 runs scored, which, considering he's been primarily all around the order, relatively impressive. Also able to work some walks to get on base. He's got 4 of them so far this season, as 1 here misses low. Now 3-1 here to Barkis. Just 9 walks this season from Weig. That's something he simply does not do. Has had only 2 out of his 5 starts where he has surrendered more than 1 walk. As now the 3-1 pitch on the way, and there's number 10. As Barkis will toss his back to the dugout, will take his base on balls, heading down to first base here with 1 out.
The shortstop, number 2.
And so now Dylan Doherty to the plate. He lined out to left field in his first at-bat. Actually, a nice play there made by Connor Doyle. as the leadoff hitter for the Grey Wolves has really cemented himself at the top of the lineup, especially in that leadoff position, as well as being able to feature his slick-handed glove. Made a couple of nice plays already so far this game as he takes a fastball low and outside here, 1-0. Had a couple of 6-3 putouts back in the second inning, one of which to end that frame. As now Weig with the runner on first. Couple of shakes here, now has his sign. Comes set, right above the chest, now kicks and fires. Breaking ball misses outside here as Weig is struggling to find the strike zone. That's something, at least reading the scatter report, I thought I would never have to say. So far this inning has only fired in 1 strike to 3 batters. So now the 2-0 count on the way here. Fastball right down the heart of the plate as he's able to find that one. 2 balls and a strike here to Dylan Doherty. Only batting .200 in 12 games so far, but like I mentioned, his defensive ability is able to keep him in and around the lineup, especially at the top with his speed as well, and now takes a fastball low here, 3-1. One kind of interesting trend with Jackson Weig in terms of the amount of walks he has surrendered so far this season. Now kicks and fires. Fastball misses high there. Weig didn't agree with it, but nonetheless going to be ball 4. And 2 walks in a row here for the Grey Wolves puts a runner in scoring position with Mitchell Jr. coming to the plate. Like I was mentioning, in terms of the trends of his walks, generally have come in clusters. In his very first start against Victoria, walked 3 in 4 innings, and maybe you could point to the first game jitters kind of getting in the way, maybe forcing a little bit of inconsistency in terms of his command. However, on June 23rd, so just a couple of weeks ago, walked 4 in 6 innings at Kitsap. And so now Mitchell Jr. coming to the plate. It's an interesting look with his bat. A lot of players like to tape their handles as this one is grounded to the shortstop. Barrett, he'll go to second base, try to flip it over to first base, dug out, and in time, 6-4-3 double play to get out of the inning. And a nice double play ball turn there. Baird, Chung, and Rutherford ends the threat here for the Grey Wolves in the third. And so now we'll go to the top of the 4th here at Osland Field with the heart of the order coming up for the Sweets. It'll be Willie McIver, Cole Rutherford, and Patrick Chung all due up in the top of the 4th as we take a break here on Gresham Grey Wolves Baseball Live. They trail it 1-0. And so now we return to action here in the top of the 4th inning here at Osland Field. Willie McIver behind the backstop tonight for the Walla Walla Sweets. Coming to the plate, Rutherford behind him as well as Chung, as Gabe Benavides is back out on the bump for his 4th inning of work. So far, just 1 hit surrendered as McIver slaps this one over to the left side out of play, 0-1. Unfortunately, that double surrendered in the last inning to Connor Doyle. Now is out near the Gresham Police Office Association sign out in right field. That allowed that run to come around after an RBI ground out from Jaron Dunn. So 1-0, the Sweets have it over the Gray Wolves as Benavides misses with a breaking ball high and outside, 1-1. MacGyver on the season. Not too often you see this from a catcher, but leading the Walla Walla Sweets in batting average at .346 as Benavides misses with a fastball inside, 2 balls and a strike. 15 games started, 52 at-bats, and 18 hits, as he's also got himself a home run, 7 RBIs, which is tied for 4th best on the team. Also 8 walks as he takes a fastball in the outside corner. Nice right there at the knees from Benavides to even the count at 2-2. And a couple words from MacGyver to the home plate umpire, Andrew Burke. Probably just asking if that's the outstretch of the strike zone, as low as he's going to go, as he laces this one over the shortstop. Tried to be backhanded by Dougherty, but he can't get in front of it. Kicks off his glove to the backhand side, and we'll wait for the official scoring, as that one could have gone either way. It's going to go as a base hit here for Willie MacGyver to lead off the 4th.
That's the first base, number 33, Cole Rutherford.
And so a base knocked to start now the 4th and the 3rd inning. That run came around in the previous frame, and we'll see if the Walla Walla Sweets, even with their cleanup hitter up, will try and make something happen in terms of a small ball type situation and a sacrifice situation. So not showing bunt here is Rutherford as he takes a fastball. Low and outside, 1-0. He was retired 6-3 back in the 2nd. And Benavides would really like a ground ball right now as he kicks and fires, and this one sprayed back off the screen. Might have got away with a pitch there as Rutherford laughs to himself as if he missed an opportunity right there. Gabe Benavides, not necessarily the hardest throwing pitcher in the West Coast League, really relies on his command. But that pitch was right over the heart of the plate. So now the lumbering first baseman back in the box. Wags the bat over his right shoulder, right around the earlobe, as Benavides now pickoff attempt over to first base. No tag there from Snyder. Nick Snyder wearing number 23 this afternoon, normally number 34, and that's something we hope will be finalized in terms of this roster. At the beginning of the season, did not necessarily have enough jerseys for the amount of players fielded. However, after a couple of cuts and additions, we are hoping that this will be the last roster change, as Rutherford pops this one up back off the screen out of play, 1-2. So apart from Snyder, for the sake of this broadcast of the Snake of our newest point streak inserter, really hope that we can get this thing figured out and that Nick Snyder will have to be the last one to wear a different jersey. So now Benavides has his sign, kind of leans over from the stretch as he now kicks, fires, and this one lofted out to right field. Ranging over towards the line is Josh Adams as he struggles with it and now loses it. That one's going to fall and get back beyond the ivy. Josh Adams will have to play it in, and as Rutherford will coast into second base. Holding up at first because he thought it should have been caught was Willie MacGyver as he advances to third, and we'll wait for the official scoring. That was a tough play, as it is ruled an E9. Looked like Josh Adams might have lost that one in the sun out there. Kind of got twisted around. That one was able to fall here as Rutherford reaches second base on the E9. So now 2 total errors in this game, 1 for each side. However, this one might hurt even more. Or rather, 2 errors for the Gray Wolves as Ben Baird, who's on deck, reached back in the second on an E5 by Zach Johnson. And so now it'll be Patrick Chung to the plate as he struck out in his last at-bat, and that is exactly what Gabe Benavides is hoping for here. Corners are in. Snyder and Johnson. The middle infield is back, and Dougherty and Barkis as this one is waved at and missed. A breaking ball swung through by Chung, and it's 0-1. So some more adversity and a couple more battle-tested situations here for Gabe Benavides throughout this ballgame, as he now kicks and fires, and this one tapped off over to the screen here, 0-2, quickly to Patrick Chung. Like I mentioned, struck out swinging in the first, or rather the second, came in an 0-2 count. And so now the 5-hole hitter for the Sweets steps back in. Lefty on lefty matchup right here as Gabe Benavides, the high leg kick, and fires a fastball that misses above the head that time. Corralled by Cairo, 1 ball and 2 strikes. So with Rutherford on second, McIver on third. An opportunity for the Sweets who, over at least this last week, have not been hitting well. Possibly an opportunity to scrap through and grab a couple runs as this one is tapped. But right back to the pitcher, Benavides. McIver will have to hold at third as Benavides looks him back and goes to first base in time to get the first out. And a nice pitch right there, expanding the strike zone. Did Benavides. Looked like a slider that time. Had Patrick Chung out in front, trying to just protect in that situation. Was able to tap it on the hop right to Benavides, fielding his position well. Looking the runner back. Playing it in a textbook defensive situation. And now 1 out here for Ben Baird. Again, Baird was the one who reached on Zach Johnson's throwing error back in the second inning. And now a squeeze play on this one, bunted right back, executed nicely by Benavides. He'll go to first base. Now the runner's coming home. The throw to home plate is in time, but dropped by Matt Cairo. A strike thrown by Nick Snyder to home plate, and Matt Cairo could not hold on to it. There was a collision at home plate as Rutherford came in hot, but Matt Cairo frustrated with himself as he knew he should have had that one and allowed another run to score. Now the Walla Walla Sweets lead it 3-0. An extremely hectic play right there as Ben Baird drops down the squeeze. And honestly, I don't believe I've seen a squeeze play so far here, at least here at Austin Field so far in this summer season. Was executed perfectly as Benavides picked it up and threw it to first base for the second out of the inning. And then Cole Rutherford, who I believe was on the move as the first pitch now on the way to Ryan Johnson, misses outside 1-0. Rutherford was on the move and turned third hard, was sent by the third base coach there, Frank Mutz. And Nick Snyder alertly threw it to home plate. However, Matt Cairo was unable to hold on. As this one is grounded to the shortstop, Doherty picks it up, goes to first base in time for the third out, but not before the sweet strike for 2. 2 runs, only one of them earned. 1 hit, and no runners left on as all runners come around. Rutherford and McIver, as the Walla Walla Sweets will now take a 3-0 lead here into the bottom of the 4th. So we'll take a quick break here on Gresham Gray Wolves Baseball Live. With the middle of the order coming up, Zach Johnson, Nick Snyder, and Josh Adams after this break. And so now we're just about set to go here in the bottom of the 4th as the Grey Wolves have got some work ahead of them. Down 3-0 here after the Walla Walla Sweets are able to take advantage of a misplay out in right field by Josh Adams. The newest defensive addition to the Grey Wolves kind of lost one out in this sun that we've seen. Heard a couple of players on the right side so far in these, I believe, 14 games so far this season, 8 of which have been at Austin Field. Or 24 games, rather, 14 of them at Austin Field, as now Zach Johnson will come to the plate. He's going to lead things off for the Grey Wolves, followed by Nick Snyder and Josh Adams. As the first pitch on the way from Weig is a fastball that misses high and outside, 1-0. In that previous inning, I mean, the Grey Wolves had the chance to kind of cut the deficit short as This changeup misses low and outside 2-0 here to Johnson. A squeeze play put on by the Sweets, and really kind of an aggressive play there by Frank Mutes as he squeezes with Ben Baird, as this one is laced back up the box, but ranging to his left is the shortstop. Baird has it over to first base in time, and there's one away here in the bottom of the fourth. So that shortstop Baird, who just made that play on Johnson, was the man who dropped the squeeze down in the top of the fourth. Willie McIver was going to score on the play regardless because of the squeeze, but then Cole Rutherford turned third and was heading home, trying to take advantage and maybe catch the Gray Wolves sleeping. However, Nick Snyder, who's now coming to the plate, was at first base, alertly threw it home, but then with a collision between Rutherford and Cairo, unable to come up with it as Nick Snyder lost this one out to right field, ranging toward the line, is the right fielder for Walla, Zach Weiss, and he makes the catch quickly 2 away. And so now an opportunity with Josh Adams to possibly atone for his mistake that allowed an extra run to score. Again, 3-0, the Walla Sweets lead it, but only 2 of those runs are earned. As Connor Doyle scored in the third and Willie McIver in the previous frame, those are the 2 earned runs, with Josh Adams now at the plate. And so now first pitch, slider taken outside here from Week 1-0. It seems like these last 2 innings, the Gray Wolves hitters have been ahead in the count, just unable to take advantage of those hitters' counts. A couple of walks surrendered by Week in the previous inning, and then Mitchell Jr. ground into a double play to kind of end that threat. As now a check swing here from Josh Adams on a breaking ball that is low. And yes, he did go around, said the home plate umpire Andrew Burke, to even the count at a ball and a strike. Adams struck out looking back in the second inning. As now the pitch on the way. Fastball misses high and out, 2-1. Ryan Smith awaiting on deck. As Josh Adams looking to try and do something to extend this inning. At the very least, capture some confidence back after misplaying a fly ball out there in the top of the inning. It's now the 2-0. Rather, 2-1 misses inside. Like a 2-seam that time that ran too far in. 3 balls and a strike here to Josh Adams. Also, not only the confidence to get back mentally into this game, but also has not collected a hit so far as a Gresham Gray Wolf. Making his third start, all of them out in right field. As now the 3-1 popped up into shallow left field. It looks like it's going to be the shortstop Baird who will call off the third baseman Dunn, and he will make the catch. So 1-2-3, the Gresham Gray Wolves go down in turn, and a shutout inning provided right there by Jackson Week. So that will conclude the fourth as we'll go to the top of the fifth inning here at Osland Field. It's going to be Connor Doyle, Zach Weiss, and Jaron Dunn do it for the Walla Sweets as we take a break here on Gresham Gray Wolves Baseball Live. I'm Evan Giddings, and the Gray Wolves trail 3-0.
The shortstop, number 24, Ben Baird.
And so now we're set to begin the fifth here at Osland Field on the campus of Mount Hood Community College, the home of the Saints. As the Gray Wolves trail it 3-0 here to the Walla Sweets. It's Connor Doyle, the left fielder for the Sweets, due up to the plate here against Gabe Benavides. First pitch of the fifth inning is a fastball that misses outside here, 1-0. Benavides out for his 5th inning. So far, 2 runs earned, 3 total. As 2 of those runs came in the last inning. This one popped up shallow on the infield to the right side. Jordan Barkus has a beat on it and makes the catch 1 away. So a nice pitch getting in on the hands of Connor Doyle there by Benavides. And that's something he has not had in these previous 2 innings in which the Walla Walla Sweets scored, which is a leadoff out. So hoping to take that momentum through the rest of this inning, as each time in the second as well as the first, each time he's got that leadoff hitter out, things have gone well. So now Zach Weiss, the 9-hitter, shows bunt, but pulls it back as this fastball misses outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Although Zach Johnson, the third baseman, looked ready for it. Playing even with the bag, maybe a step on the grass. As now the 1-0 pitch on the way is a fastball right there at the knees on the outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. So far, Zach Weiss in his first plate appearance this afternoon came in the third when he sacrificed Connor Doyle over to third base after Doyle led off with a double. And this fastball misses apparently high. That one looked to be right around the belt. Zach Weiss not necessarily the tallest of this Walla Walla Sweets team. Doesn't even look to be about 6 feet, probably 5'10", as he now backs out of the way of this breaking ball, misses inside 3-1. Zach Weiss, only 1 hit in his last 6 at-bats, and so in fact has not seen much action, primarily a utility player kind of in that Michael Breen role scene, being all around the infield as he now chops this one. Incoming Zach Johnson at third base and a strong throw to first in time with a nice stretch there from Nick Snyder. Now 2 outs here to begin the 5th. So Zach Johnson on his second opportunity defensively makes the correction as he threw one away back in the second, but that's one right to the chest of Nick Snyder. And now there's 2 outs here in the top of the 5th with Jaron Dunn coming to the plate. Jaron Duran, who's been hitting .391 over this last week, has really been one of the only sources of offense for the Sweets, and he keeps it going here as he laces this one back up the box, going to get into center field for a single here. And with 2 outs now, Alex Musi, an opportunity to possibly extend this inning against Gabe Benavides here in the 5th. And so Musi, who's 0 for 2, couple of ground outs, 1 to second, 1 right back to the pitcher, Benavides. That came in to end the 3rd. And now Benavides hoping he can have a repeat right here. So now from the stretch, kicks and fires, fastball in the dirt. Runner's going. Cairo picks it up late and throws down to second base, and it is in time. Matt Cairo with a laser beam down to second base to catch Jaron Duran, who tried to advance on the ball in dirt. No, says Cairo, as that will conclude the 5th here on an excellent defensive play behind the plate there from Matt Cairo to retire the side. So we'll head to the bottom of the 5th with Ryan Smith, Mark Cardinale, and Matt Cairo. That man to end this inning will be coming up in the bottom half of the frame as we'll take a break here on Gresham Grey Wolves Baseball Live. Again, the Grey Wolves trail 3-0.
Leadoff for Gresham.
And so now we're set to go here in this bottom of the 5th inning with Ryan Smith coming to the plate against Jackson Weig, He'll be followed by Cardinale and Cairo and Jordan Barkus if anyone should reach. And so far, this Grey Wolf offense has not been able to muster much against Jackson Weig, the left-hander for the Walla Walla Sweets. As the first pitch on the way to Smith, grounded hard to the third baseman, past a diving Jaron Duran over there in the hot corner. Ryan Smith taking a turn, but played in nicely there by Connor Doyle. Will have to make the speedy Ryan Smith hold up at first base as he collects a single. Not just the second hit of the ball game for the Grey Wolves, and an opportune time here to lead off the bottom of the 5th. So Ryan Smith, we've seen him be able to make things happen in plenty of ways so far this season offensively. Third on the team with 6 stolen bases. As we know, he can flash the speed, as now Cardinale takes an off-speed pitch on the outside corner for a strike 0-1. Cardinale grounded out to the shortstop back in the second. And now takes a fastball, pops it up over down the right field line. Incoming Zach Weiss, and he will make the catch just a couple steps from the line. An alert play there from Ryan Smith. Kind of a do-or-die play in really a difficult area there for Weiss, battling the sun as well. But Ryan Smith alertly kept near the bag, did not want to get doubled off, and prevented Zach Weiss from completing the double play. So unfortunately, Cardinale goes down to the F9. But Ryan Smith keeps himself on the base paths with 1 out. It'll be Matt Cairo for the Grey Wolves coming to the plate. Cairo on a couple of opposite ends in terms of the defensive momentum so far in this game as he swings through a changeup there 0-1. In the the 4th inning, it's kind of an interesting play. Cole Rutherford came around to score from second base on a squeeze play. Willie McIver was at third. He came in easily, but then Cole Rutherford tried to extend and take the extra base as Cairo takes a fastball on the outside edge for a corner. That one seemed to be a couple balls off the plate, but nonetheless called for a strike by Andrew Burke. And so Cairo took the throw from the first baseman, Nick Snyder, beat Rutherford by at least 10 feet. And then after the collision, Matt Cairo unfortunately dropped the ball and allowed that run to score. So that was the bad and the ugly, I guess, of this game. And then as he takes a fastball outside here, 1-2. And the good came last inning to end that 5th when he threw out Jaron Duran trying to advance to second base on a ball in dirt. And we know he's got that strong arm, able to flash the cannon right there. That's now the 1-2 pitch on the way from Weig. Runner goes. Throw is high. It's going to be a ball down to second base. Not in time as Ryan Smith is in with a stolen base, his 7th of the season. And so making things happen on the base pass is Ryan Smith, moving himself into scoring position. And earlier in the season, I talked to Justin Barkus about what he thought his team's strengths were, especially offensively. Now, has talked about kind of the inability to put together consistent games at the plate with the bat. However, he did mention that he really wanted to try and use and take advantage of his team's ability to run, and especially on the base passes. This one is called strike 3 on the outside corner. Kind of a late call there from Andrew Burke, the second of this at-bat to Matt Cairo. And considering he's behind the plate, that one kind of an interesting call. You don't typically tend to see too many difficult or even, in that case, borderline calls against the opposing backstop, the man in front of you, providing you protection all game. So nonetheless, goes down as a backwards K for Matt Cairo. And it'll be Jordan Barkus to the plate. Of course, the younger brother of the head coach, Justin Barkus. Tend to get those mixed up occasionally. As the first pitch on the way to Jordan is bent in for a strike. Curveball there from Weig. So now 2 out. Runner in scoring position on second base in the form of Ryan Smith. It's going to be up to Barkus here to try and get the Grey Wolves on the board. As he now swings and misses a breaking ball that time. Looked like a slider there from Weig, and it's quickly 0-2. And so this is the interesting part about Weig. It looked like he was kind of struggling with that command through these previous 2 innings, maybe even into the second a little bit. But now after finding it, being able to battle through and still come out unscathed, looks to be able to sort of find a rhythm and has been able to do that right here as he fires a slider, swung on and missed there by Barkus. Back-to-back strikeouts here to conclude this 5th inning as they leave one runner on second base in scoring position in the form of Ryan Smith. So 1 hit, no runs, no errors as the Gray Wolves are retired, and we'll go to the top of the 6th here at Osland Field. Alex Moosey, Willie McIver, and Cole Rutherford, the heart of the order, do it for the Walla Walla Sweets as we'll take a break here on Gray Wolves Live. The Gray Wolves trail 3-0. And so now we're just about set to go here in the top of the 6th as Alex Moosey coming to the plate, the center fielder this afternoon for the Walla Walla Sweets. He's 0 for 2. A couple of groundouts. In fact, was up last inning, and that was when Jaron Duran tried to take second base on Matt Cairo, and now this one goes and misses inside off the kneecap there of Alex Moosey, and he's hit by that pitch. And it looks like there's some bullpen action going down there for the Walla Walla Sweets. We'll try and get that name for you out as quickly as possible. As Gabe Benavides now facing another situation with a leadoff runner aboard. This time via the hit by pitch. As now Willie McIver will come to the plate. He singled to lead off the 4th before eventually coming around to score. Was the second run of now a 3-0 deficit the Gray Wolves face. As this fastball misses low in the dirt, 1-0. No action brewing for the Gray Wolves as Benavides has worked into his 6th inning. Pitch count not necessarily high, probably upwards of around 75, maybe even 70. As Benavides has his sign. Now quick pickoff over to first. In time, back to the bag is Moosey with a quick tag there from Snyder. That was that quick pickoff move where Benavides just takes his back foot off the rubber, quickly fires over to first. Almost caught him napping. Nonetheless, 1-0 pitch on the way. Breaking ball that time misses low. Blocked by Cairo. 2 balls and no strikes here to Willie McIver. 1 for 2 as he also flew out to the right fielder Josh Adams back in the 1st. Like I mentioned, so far the best hitter on this season, average-wise at least, for the Walla Walla Sweets. It's now the 2-0 pitch. Fastball misses way outside there. 3-0. As Benavides looking to try and find that release point. So Benavides now taking some extra time walking around the rubber, maybe trying to gather himself more mentally than physically, as so far today hasn't had a lot of trouble with handing out free bases. In fact, the only free base was that hit by pitch to Alex Moosey. No walks so far. 3 hits scattered as this one misses low in the dirt, and back-to-back free bases allowed by Benavides. Now has the Walla Walla Sweets in scoring position here with nobody out in the top of the 6th. And it looks like number 3 in the bullpen for the Walla Walla Sweets. That's Nick Scheidler beginning to warm up. And interesting how the Gray Wolves don't have anyone in their bullpen, as now it looks like we're going to have a mound visit. Ian Sanderson coming out to the mound along with Matt Cairo. It was his battery mate, Cairo, that came out first, and now Ian Sanderson kind of just taking his time, understanding that this might be the right situation to go out and talk to his guy. and an opportunity in the top of the 6th inning with runners on base and nobody out. This could be a chance for the Sweets to try and not only extend this lead, but possibly put this game away. Not to say that the Grey Wolves haven't had miraculous comebacks before, as the last time they were home, I believe it was against the Wenatchee Apple Sox, that they came back and won 6-5, scoring all 6 of those runs in the bottom of the 9th inning here at Osland Field. Definitely one of the more spectacular comebacks I know I've ever seen. As Sanderson is back out and into the dugout, Cairo's behind the plate, and Gabe Benavides looks to get locked in here now against Cole Rutherford. The cleanup hitter for Walla tonight is swung on and missed a changeup wave through right there, and a nice pitch there from Benavides. It looked like Muzi that time actually gave a fake couple of steps toward third base as if he was going to steal, but ended up going back to second base. Drew a pump fake there from Matt Cairo to get him back. As now Benavides checks the runner on second. Now a second time, and a pickoff over to second, but nobody's there. Smartly held it. It looked like he caught Muzi on a secondary jump, and in fact, if the second baseman Barkas had been there, probably would have had an opportunity to pick him off and get him out. But nonetheless, did the right thing with nobody home, just held it. And still an 0-1 count here to Rutherford, as Benavides has his sign. Now kicks and fires. This one low in the dirt. Probably a changeup again that time, as Rutherford will simply spit on that one as the count evens up 1-1. Rutherford over this last week batting .357. We know he's got the long ball power. Already has one home run this past week. In fact, that was his first home run of the season. Looks like McCready, the center fielder, leading the team with 2 home runs. So kind of lacking in offensive firepower, much like the Grey Wolves, as this fastball misses low and inside. 2 balls and a strike here to Rutherford. After that first pitch, Benavides has continued to be down in the zone. And so Barkas trying to keep Muzi on second base as close to the bag as possible. No stolen bases for him, but definitely looks like he's been able to move around a little bit, as now Benavides misses low and inside again. Almost an identical pitch to where he missed not only that second ball, but as well as 2 of the 4 balls he threw to Willie McIver in the previous at-bat. And so now a 3-1 hitters count here for Rutherford. The first baseman batting .300 so far this season. A dangerous place here for Benavides. This is a 3-1 pitch on the way. Fastball misses low. And that'll be ball 4, as Gabe Benavides has put the bases loaded here via the walk and hit by pitch. It was Muzi on the very first pitch of this inning who was struck in the right thigh by Gabe Benavides. And now a 4-pitch walk to McIver, followed by, right here, a 5-pitch walk to Cole Rutherford, as it now looks like there's going to be some action going down in the Grey Wolves bullpen. And so now Patrick Chung, he'll come to the plate with the bases loaded and nobody out, as he swings and tips off the glove of Cairo, but able to get back and scamper to it. No runners able to advance, as Muzi will have to stay at third base. But Cairo occasionally has had trouble holding on to that ball, and we even saw that in the 3rd inning when he unfortunately dropped that play at the plate, combined with the collision from Rutherford. Just a couple of pass balls this season, but it seems like they've always tended to come with runners in scoring position. As now the corner infielder is drawn in. This one lined to the right side, but foul beyond the first base line, and it is 1-1, or rather 0-2 here to Patrick Chung. Chung, who's 0 for 2, grounded out to the pitcher back in the 4th, struck out on 3 pitches in the 2nd. So a couple of unproductive at-bats, and Benavides, I mean, if you're in a situation where you direly need an out, so far this afternoon, Chung has been the guy you've wanted to face in these spots. It's now the 0-2 pitch on the way. Swung on and missed. Gabe Benavides gets his man. Second time today, Chung goes down on strikes on 3 pitches as Gabe Benavides collects his 1, 2, 3, his third strikeout of the afternoon. So now Ben Baird coming to the plate. He's 0 for 1. Reached on an error back in the second. In fact, had that squeeze sacrifice in the fourth. So 1 RBI. Corner infielders drawn in. Middle infielders looking for that double play ball here with 1 out. As now Benavides fires. First pitch grounded to the second baseman, Barkis. He gathers it, goes to second base. Dougherty over to first base, but not in time, as that will bring in a run. Now 4-0, Walla. And so that will be a fielder's choice as Ben Baird able to scamper to first base and get there in time. Cole Rutherford is retired on the 4-6 as McIver moves to third base and Alex Muzi comes in to score. And so now with 2 outs, an opportunity to limit the damage here of your Benavides, with Ryan Johnson, the designated hitter this afternoon, coming to the plate. He's 0 for 2. 2 ground outs to Dylan Doherty, both of which to end innings in the second, the fourth, and hopefully for Benavides now here in the sixth. First pitch on the way. Fastball bounced low in the dirt, blocked. Looked like he used his face that time. Did Matt Cairo, able to keep it right in front of home plate. And that's what they teach you behind the plate. Got to keep it in front with any way possible. Not sure they were always talking about using your face, but Matt Cairo able to possibly keep a run from scoring right there for ball 1. So now Benavides collects his sign, comes set, kicks and fires. Runner goes. Throw down to second base. No, a fake here as now Matt Cairo has Rutherford in a rundown. He's going to third base. Zach Johnson will have it. Now running him back as Nick Snyder will catch it, and he will dive and make the play. An athletic play there from Nick Snyder. We're going to get that official score to you next inning because I cannot keep track. That time it was 2-5-3 on the putout to end the inning and end the threat. Walla strikes for 1, but able to hold the damage as 2 runners on left on base. 1 in scoring position here by Benavides, as that will end the top of the 6th. So we'll go to the bottom of the inning with the top of the order coming up for the Grey Wolves. It'll be Doherty, Mitchell Jr., and Zach Johnson due up after this break here on Gresham Grey Wolves Baseball Live. The Grey Wolves now trail 4-0. And so now we are set to go here in this bottom of the 6th inning with the Grey Wolves coming up in the top of the order. So far, Jackson Weig has held them at bay through the first 5 frames. 5 shutout innings for Jackson Weig as he's in fact actually looked like he's been replaced. As number 3 Nick Scheidler now on the mound. And Jackson Weig's day is done. So not sure if it was because of the pitch count or possibly maybe saving him for later in the week, as the new pitcher Scheidler will fire in a strike here to Dougherty, 0-1. So a long, lanky left-hander. The high leg kick fires in a fastball, misses low here, 1-1. And I'm actually kind of puzzled as to which reason they took Jackson Weig out of the game, as this fastball misses high and outside, 2-1. So far, Dylan Dougherty, 0 for 1. Walked back in the third, flew out to left field in the first inning, as he now fights this one off to the left side. Out beyond the grandstand here, 2-2. As we got ourselves a packed house here at Osland Field for the Sunday right before the 4th of July. Packed all the way around here at Osland Field on the campus of Mount Hood Community College, and certainly something that's good to see for this Gresham faithful. There's now the 0-2 pitch on the way outside there. Looked like a breaking ball, just lost control of that one as it gets back to the screen, and the count runs full here to Dylan Dougherty. In fact, the very first full count of the afternoon here for the Grey Wolves. And that speaks again to the reason as to why Jackson Weig was taken out. That couldn't have been because of the pitch count, as Dougherty again fights one back off the screen to keep the count full. And we'll do it again. So Mitchell Jr. awaiting on deck. Following him, it'll be Zach Johnson. If anyone should reach, Nick Snyder would be coming to the plate for Gresham. As now Scheidler has his sign. Payoff pitch on the way. Fastball inside as Dougherty ducks out of the way of that one, and he has his second walk on the afternoon. So I mentioned earlier in the broadcast about how Dougherty not necessarily hitting as well as I'm sure he would like to, only 200. However, being able to keep that on-base percentage up and certainly doing just that here today. Now picking up his 6th walk on the season. And so now Jeff Mitchell Jr. coming to the plate. He's 1 for 2. Singled back in the first, also as a stolen base. As he now shows bunt, but pops up the bunt, and no one can get to it on the hop. Although Scheidler able to get it on the bounce and then able to go to first base in time to get the out. Mitchell Jr. not happy with that call as the field umpire, Tim Gerkman, calls him out. It was a bang-bang play, but it did look like Scheidler, who threw the ball 1-3 over to first base, did get it there in time. So, in fact, will go down as a sacrifice bunt, as although it looked like he was trying to bunt for a hit, able to move the runner over and Dylan Dougherty to second base. As now Zach Johnson will come to the plate here with 1 out. And now strikes this one into left field. That's going to get down for a base hit. They're going to hold the runner up at third base in Dougherty as the throw comes in from Boyle. But nonetheless, runners on the corners here after a single from Jack Johnson. The third on the afternoon for the Grey Wolves. And now an opportunity with runners at the corners here with less than 2 outs. And an RBI opportunity for Nick Snyder coming to the plate. And so Nick Snyder, who's 0 for 2, not a better time to collect your first hit of the afternoon against Scheidler, as it looks like the pitching coach now will make a trip to the mound for the Walla Sweets. Michael Dingelin will head out to the mound and try and not only just calm his pitcher down, but also possibly remind him of the situation. Understanding he's got a 4-run lead as it's 4-0 here to the Walla. Not to worry too much about that runner on third base, but just stay in the strike zone. And against Nick Snyder, who hasn't had so much success at the plate this afternoon, maybe an opportunity to go right at a guy, maybe even induce a ground ball double play, as Snyder does not run well. On the other side, Snyder is going to look for a pitch to hit early in the count here, even against a new pitcher in Scheidler, as he's shown he's not afraid to come right over the middle of that plate and challenge hitters with that fastball. So now first pitch on the way. Maybe a changeup, some sort of off-speed pitch that time. Misses low and in the dirt here to Snyder, 1-0. As Snyder's been one of the hotter hitters for the Gray Wolves of this past week, batting upwards of around 350. And now swings, hits one high fly ball out to deep right field, giving chase to Zach Weiss near the track, and he will make the catch. But that will get it done. A sacrifice fly here for Nick Snyder as the runner on third base comes in. That's Dylan Doherty, and the Gray Wolves are on the board. So now 4-1 here at Osland Field as Nick Snyder is able to execute with a sacrifice fly. In fact, that one I thought nearly had a chance. The right fielder Weiss caught it just a few steps in front of the Gresham Police Officers Association sign out in right field, out near the warning track. And so now it'll be up to Josh Adams to try and extend this inning here with 2 outs and a runner on first base. So Zach Johnson takes his lead. Now pickoff attempt over to first base, but back in time is Johnson without a slide. And Adams, struggling so far today, could really use this opportunity to pick himself up. 0 for 2, popped out to short in the fourth and struck out back in the second. However, the new lefty on the mound, maybe a new look here for the current Gaucho as he takes a fastball in the outside corner for strike one. And Josh Adams was kind of ran into that sun back in the third inning as Cole Rutherford sent one out to right field. He lost it. The reason I'm mentioning that is the sun is now bearing down upon this right side of the infield as a pickoff attempt. Again, not in time, but Johnson this time back with a head first slide. All members of the infield as well as the right fielder, Zach Weiss, on the right side. So second, first, and right field, all of them with glasses on trying to fight off this sun. So now the pitch on the way to Adams. Fastball low, backpeck over to first base, but not in time as Zach Johnson's in with a head first slide again. Alertly picking up that play, and a nice throw there from McIver. A snap throw from the knees behind the back of Josh Adams. Not something you see too often, and maybe trying to use that lefty to block Zach Johnson's vision, but nonetheless was able to get into first base safely. And so now the 1-1 pitch on the way. Fastball runs low there. 2 balls and a strike here to Josh Adams. As also the shadows have begun to creep out onto the field, sort of bracing across the pitcher's mound all the way down to home plate. So not necessarily tough on the batter, although the awkwardness of the shade crossing over to the sun is going to provide some sort of distraction. As now Josh Adams pops this one up over on the infield to the left side. It's going to be Jaron Duran over to grab it, and he'll collect the pop out for the third out of this inning. So the Gray Wolves strike for one. Dylan Doherty, after a leadoff walk, comes around after a sacrifice bunt gets him to second from Mitchell Jr. Then finally a sacrifice fly from Nick Snyder allows the Gray Wolves to get on the board here to conclude this 6th inning. 4-1 they trail as we will go to the top of the 7th here at Osland Field. For Walla Walla, it'll be Ryan Johnson, Connor Doyle, and Zach Weiss due up the bottom of the order here on Gresham Gray Wolves Baseball Live. And so now we're just about set to go here to begin this top of the 7th inning. Again, the designated hitter for the Walla Sweets, Ryan Johnson, due up to the plate as he's 0 for 2, couple of groundouts to the shortstop Doherty. As it'll be Benavides back out on the mound for his 7th inning of work. First pitch on the way, fastball right there on the outside edge, 0-1. As every time Benavides has been able to lock up that leadoff hitter, no runs have come across. As now this one, a soft ground ball over to the second baseman. Gathers it as Barkis on to first base in time, and there's one away. So hopefully a sign of good things to come here for Benavides as he begins this 7th inning on a strong note. A ground ball there, 4-3 put out to retire Johnson.
Number 6, Connor Doyle.
Some action that began to brew in the Grey Wolves bullpen last inning. That was Kyle Scott, the left-hander, as he's still back up in the bullpen. Kind of some light toss. As now the first pitch on the way here to Connor Doyle. Push bunt over the right side, gathered by Benavides on to first base in time. So a nice 1-3 put out as Benavides so far today may not have necessarily the strongest command at the plate, but also being able to make up for it in different areas. Filling his position has definitely been one of those, as he has 3 putouts via the Patrick Chung ground ball, a squeeze play that he threw to first base, and now Connor Doyle to get the second out here in this 7th inning. So now quickly 2 outs here with Zach Weiss, the 9-hole hitter, due up to the plate, as he'll swing and miss, pulled the string on a changeup that time, and it's 0-1. 0 for 1 is Weiss as he grounded out to the third baseman Johnson. Also a sacrifice bunt as Benavides misses outside here with a fastball 1-1. And it also seems like when Benavides is able to get into that rhythm, and not necessarily just in the windup, but also when he's attacking the zone, keeping that tempo nice and sharp as he fires and misses this one low here, 2 balls and a strike, seems virtually unhittable. I mean, when Gabe Benavides rather is able to lock in and settle in, it seems like it's relatively inning to inning in terms of his mental fixture on the mound. But whenever he's locked in, he's had so much success here this afternoon as he now tags the outside corner with a fastball to even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hasn't had the most help defensively as the Grey Wolves have put up 3 errors this inning. There's now the 1-2 pitch fought off over to the left side. Rather 2-2, as that is what the count remains. Jaron Duran awaiting on deck, the leadoff hitter, as Benavides would really love a 1-2-3 inning, as this possibly could be his last. So now, pitch on the way, swung on and missed, tied him up, or rather dropped there by Cairo. It was in his glove. I thought he was able to hold on to it, but nonetheless popped out of the mitt, and the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. We've seen that happen a couple times. Has played to his advantage once as it popped out of his glove back in the 5th, was able to throw out the runner on deck, Duran, as now this one is grounded over to the first base dugout, the opposing dugout of the Sweets, and it's out of play. We'll do it again. And so Duran awaiting on deck, trying to find some way up as Benavides is trying to find some way to retire Zach Weiss. The 8th pitch of the at-bat coming up right here, as Benavides' pitch count is climbing upwards of the century mark here, as he now has his sign. Kicks and fires, swung on and missed. In the dirt, though. Cairo scampers to it, collects it, throws it to first base. Dug out by Nick Snyder. What a play! A strikeout there for Gabe Benavides, possibly to end his evening. And a beautiful play on the drop third strike by Cairo. He barehanded it, threw it to Nick Snyder, was in the dirt, but dug out to end this 7th inning. So we'll go to the bottom of this frame with Ryan Smith, Mark Cardinale, and Matt Cairo coming to the plate for the Grey Wolves as we take a quick break here on Grey Wolves Live. It's 4-1, the Sweets lead. And so now we return to action here at Osland Field in the bottom of the 7th inning with Ryan Smith due up to the plate for the Grey Wolves. And they will face a new pitcher for the Walla Walla Sweets. Billy Dimlow, number 8 from Olympia, Washington, the 6'2", 180-pound right-hander, making his very first appearance, at least according to Point Streak, for the Walla Walla Sweets.
Number 13, Ryan Smith.
And so we'll see what he's got. According to his warm-up pitches, simple combination of fastball, curveball, change. And the first batter he will get will be Ryan Smith, who was 1 for 2 on the afternoon. A single and a stolen base back in the 5th. Unfortunately, was stranded at second base. Also flew out to left field back in the 2nd. So 1 of 3 runners left on bases. The Grey Wolves simply have struggled to find their ways onto the base paths. And then once they've gotten there, being able to struggle coming all the way around. 1 in that last inning as Dylan Doherty was able to come around and score, as we have now a 4-1 ball game here at Osland Field. Although Zach Johnson was left on the base pass in the previous inning. And it's now the first pitch on the way here from Dimlow is a fastball that misses inside to Smith, 1-0. It'll be Cardinelli as well as Matt Cairo following the Grey Wolves center fielder here in the bottom of the 7th. It's now the 1-0 pitch, fastball right down the heart of the plate. It's even the count at a ball and a strike. And really with not much scouting report to go off of. A good take there by Ryan Smith, just trying to see what he can get. This time a slider on the outside corner, slap to the right side. Second baseman Patrick Chung will gather it and go to first base in time for the first out of the bottom of the 7th.
Left fielder, number 25, Mark Cardelli.
Some tight spin right there to that slider as the home plate umpire, Andrew Burke, will go out and try and check that ball as it's kind of capped off the end of the bat there from Ryan Smith. And some tight breaks, so maybe that slider, not necessarily a curveball, but in fact more of a slider, a slurve, as that one definitely has got some late movement to it. And now first pitch, lates right there by Cardinelli, off the chest, one hop by Jaron Duran. He picks it up at third base and goes to first in time. A nice play as that one was stung hard by Cardinelli on the first pitch he saw. But unfortunately, right at the third baseman, Duran, who put his chest in front of it, was able to keep it in front to be able to make the play. So 4 pitches and 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th as Matt Cairo will now come to the plate looking for his first hit this afternoon as he's 0 for 2. Struck out looking back in the 5th, grounded out to the pitcher in the 3rd. So now a breaking ball high and inside. Cairo spun out of the way of that one. At first, I thought he might have been fooled as that one was coming up and in. It broke back towards the plate, but not far enough as it goes for ball 1. And so Scheidler, 1 inning, 1 scoreless inning, as it looks like at this pace, Billy Dimlow could be in for the same type of inning as he fires a fastball swung on and missed by Cairo, 1-1. As Scheidler really was looking for some bounce-back performance as he came in with a 10.12 ERA. The Grey Wolves were unable to muster much as this one misses outside 2-1. They were able to get a run off the lanky left-hander, but not able to capitalize on a runners on the corner situation with 1 out as this fastball finds the outside edge here against Cairo. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And so Cairo's just batting 143 in the last week, 4 games, only 7 at-bats, but just 1 hit as he now takes a breaking ball that misses again high and inside. So not much control of that pitch there from Dimlow, and that runs the count full. Now 3-2. Defense shading Cairo out towards right center as Alex Muzi, the center fielder, has taken a couple steps towards the Police Officers Association sign. As now Cairo sprays this one over to the second baseman, has to backhand it, Patrick Chung, but goes to first base in plenty of time to get Cairo and retire the side. So 1, 2, 3, the Grey Wolves go down here in the bottom of the 7th. And we'll begin the 8th after this quick break here on Gresham Grey Wolves Live. The Grey Wolves trail 4-1. And so now we're ready to go here in the top of the 8th. Gabe Benavides back out on the mound in the 8th as Kyle Scott continues to throw down on the bullpen. And you got to imagine a possible short leash here for Benavides in this 8th inning. Pitch count is up, and really the only reason I think he was able to get through that 7th is because he went 1-2-3. So hopeful for another repeat of that right here as the leadoff hitter, Jaron Duran, shows bunt but takes ball low 1-0. So it'll be Duran, Moosey, and McIver due up here in the top of the 8th for the Walla Walla Sweets, as Duran is 1 for 3. And now swings, laces this one, but right at the shortstop, Doherty fielded nicely onto first base in time, and there's one away. I don't think I've ever seen a middle infielder get so low when he fields a ground ball. Dylan Doherty, picture perfect form there on the ground ball on his 4th 6-3 putout here this afternoon. And so now Alex Moosey to the plate. He's 0 for 2. Was hit by a pitch from Benavides back in the 6th before eventually coming around to score. Also a couple of ground outs, one back to the pitcher, as well as to the second baseman back in the 1st as he swings and misses on a big breaking ball there, 0-1. That's now the 0-1 pitch on the way here to Duran. Fastball misses outside to even the count. As I guess we've had a defensive adjustment on the other side, or rather for Walla Walla. Duran has been moved over to second base as this one misses low and in the dirt, 2-1. And I guess Patrick Chung in that last frame was taken out. And this one you're going to have to bear with me, as Kobe Kauhaha was moved over to third base. So he's in the game, as now the pitch on the way. Fastball right there on the outside corner, 2-2 here to Moosey. We saw him dancing around on the base passes. This center fielder, not necessarily your average looking speedster, but definitely has got some agility as he takes a fastball just off the edge. Benavides thought he had strike 3 as he walks off the mound there. A little frustrated with that call, and to be honest, it looks like really all afternoon has been frustrated with the strike zone of Andrew Burke, who has been given the outside corner in some situations, not necessarily in others, as that one right there proves it. And now the 3-2 pitch, payoff pitch on the way. Curveball does not get far enough inside, and that is going to be ball 4 here to Alex Moosey as he'll take his base on balls. And so now Kyle Scott beginning to get hot down to the bullpen with Ben Clakey down in the squat there. Also looks like another Grey Wolf's starting to warm up. Not quite sure if he's a pitcher or a position player looking to come in these late innings, as we got a 4-1 ball game. Still within reach for the Grey Wolves. This one is sent out to deep left field. Cardinelli giving chase, and that one's going to get over his head. Off the Gresham forward sign out in left field. They're going to send Moosey. Nope, now they're going to hold him up at third base, as Will McIver has himself a one-out double here, and now are in business here with the Walla Walla Sweets in the top of the 8th inning. Runners in scoring position and just one out. So, of course, right as I was mentioning, the score and the ability for the Grey Wolves to possibly get back in this ball game, Willie McIver delivers a shot that could very well put quite a dampen in that sentence right there. I mean, now runners on second and third with Cole Rutherford, a 300 hitter due up to the plate. The Grey Wolves are going to bring the infield in, hoping to try and keep this game at just that, 4-1. And now a big swing and a miss there on a breaking pitch, 0-1. And so Justin Bark is sticking with his starter in Benavides. And in particular, I think Barkis has really done a good job at being able to trust his starting pitcher. Haven't seen too many times where he's left that starter in too long, but more so showing confidence here in this summer season as Benavides misses the fastball outside, 1-1. Rutherford, 0 for 2, walked back in the 6th, reached on an error, and that was that kind of pivotal error so far in this game, one you could point to as a possible turning point out to right field that Josh Adams lost in the sun. and eventually came around to score to make it 3-0 at the time, as now Benavides misses low in the dirt with a changeup, 2 balls and a strike. And at that time, those were 2 huge runs, because one could argue that if McIver doesn't move over to third on that error that eventually put the runners in scoring position and allowed them to come in to take the 3-0 lead, you could make an argument that McIver wouldn't have scored either. Might have at that time still had ourselves a 1-0 ball game. So now the 2-1 pitch on the way. Misses low. Dug out by Cairo there. 3 balls and a strike to Rutherford, as it was a 3-1 count that he walked in his previous at-bat. Awaiting on deck is that man, Kobe Kauhaha, coming in for Patrick Chung, who to this point tonight really just did not have his best game. 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. As now the 3-1 pitch, fly ball into deep right center field. Giving chase is Ryan Smith along with Josh Adams, and it'll be Ryan Smith making the catch at the base of the wall. A nice over-the-shoulder catch, but unfortunately will get the job done as Rutherford achieves the sacrifice fly. Muzi comes in to score, and it's 5-1 Walla Walla. In addition, McIver will move up to third base as Rutherford collects his first RBI on the evening. Now an RBI to go with that run. But a nice play there from Ryan Smith, is if that ball drops, an opportunity for not only 1 but 2 runs to score, as well as put another runner in scoring position. So now with 2 outs, an opportunity to keep the damage at just 1 run. And it seems like Gabe Benavides has done a great job at doing that all night. And so now the runner on third takes a creeping lead, and Benavides will step off the mound and look him back. That's McIver. As now it's Kobe Kauhaha to the plate. His first at-bat so far in this game, as Benavides fires a fastball low and in. Blocked there by Cairo, 1-0. As Kauhaha, so far this season, batting just 196 in 18 games. 10 for 51. 5 runs scored, couple RBIs, as well as 1 walk, as the 1-0 pitch is tapped on over to the right side. In fact, right to the batter on deck, and Ben Baird, as he'll toss that one back in to even up the count at a ball and a strike. Kauhaha also with 9 strikeouts. Like I mentioned, just that 1 walk. He's from Yorba Linda, California. A sophomore, 6 foot, 195 pounds. And now the 1-1 pitch on the way, a hard ground ball, but right to the shortstop, Doherty. He comes in off one leg over to first base in time to retire the side. So 1 run for the Sweets as they extend their lead now 5-1. But Benavides works out of another jam and leaves a runner stranded on third base. So 1 hit, 1 run, 1 runner left on as we go to the bottom of the 8th here at Osland Field. And after this break, I'll be right back with you. I'm Evan Giddings. Don't go anywhere.
Second baseman, number 5.
And so we're just about set to go here to begin this bottom of the 8th inning. It's a new pitcher on the bump for Walla Walla. Is now Ryan Johnston. In fact, was DHing earlier in the game, has come in to pitch for the Walla Walla Sweets. So utilizing their bullpen effectively, as Jackson Weig went 5 shutout innings, only allowed 2 hits, as now Jordan Barkus, the leadoff hitter for the Gray Wolves, takes a fastball inside 1-0. Weig went 5 shutouts, struck out 5, allowed 2 walks and 2 hits, and most importantly, no runs, as Barkus takes another fastball low here, 2 balls and no strikes to the Gray Wolf second baseman. It was followed by Nick Scheidler, who pitched an inning, allowed 1 run, and that's the only run the Gray Wolves have so far as they trail it 5-1, as Barkus takes ball 3 outside. And then the previous inning, it was Dimlow, who went 3 up, 3 down. And now the 3-0 pitch on the way to Barkus, catches the inside edge, 3-1. And so now Johnson on to try and continue the trend of putting up zeros as Barkus sends this one deep to right field. Giving chase out there is Kauhaha off the wall, and it is off the wall. A double at least right here for Barkus, as he will have to hold up at second. And he'll put the guns in the holster right there as he has himself an extra base hit to begin this 8th inning. Beautifully struck there by Jordan Barkus as he collects his first hit on the afternoon. And really a loud one right there, right off the Gresham Police Officers Association sign out there in right field. As Barkus, seeing action for the second time in just the past week, collects his 3rd hit in as many games. So now Dylan Doherty to the plate. The leadoff hitter for the Gray Wolves has found himself on base twice this afternoon, both on 4-pitch walks, as he now takes a fastball on the outside for a strike there from Johnston, 0-1. And so we've seen some late inning antics from the Gray Wolves over these past couple weeks, as the combination of pinch hitters along with late inning rallies stringing together hits in these type of situations, as Doherty misses out or takes a ball outside 1-1, has allowed the Gray Wolves to come back and win these type of ball games. They only trail 4 runs. And an opportunity here in the 8th inning to at least get 1, possibly add on a couple more, as now Doherty fights this one through the left side. That's going to get in for a base hit. Over to third base is Barkus, as Doherty has himself a single, his first on the afternoon here in the bottom of the 8th. Now runners at the corners with nobody out. And Jeffrey Mitchell Jr., the designated hitter this afternoon for the Gray Wolves, coming to the plate. He's 1 for 2, a sacrifice bunt back in the 6th, grounded to a double play in the 3rd, but singled back in the 1st, and that's exactly what they need from their main man, Jeff Mitchell Jr., right here. He's come up big in so many spots this season, leading the league in a couple different offensive categories. In fact, was named the West Coast League Player of the Week the 2nd week of the season, as he takes a breaking ball here from Johnston, 0-1. And so far has been able to provide the offensive spark that his team needs all around the order. Now a fastball taken on the outside corner, so quickly 0-2 here to Mitchell Jr., who's also not afraid to swing in a 2-strike count. I can remember a couple of times him being able to go the other way in 2-strike counts, being able to fight off a couple of pitches, at the very least putting together a quality at-bat to make this pitcher work. So now Johnston kicks and fires, changeup misses high around the letters, 1 ball and 2 strikes here to Mitchell. So runners take their lead. Doherty at first, Barkus at 3rd. Pitch now on the way, slap back off the screen. Just did get a piece of it, did Mitchell Jr., as he stays alive here, 1-2. Zach Johnson awaiting on deck in the 3-hole for Gresham. Behind him, the cleanup hitter in Nick Snyder. I mean, this is the heart of the order right here for Gresham. Got to be able to capitalize with nobody out and an opportunity to get yourself back into this ball game. 1-2 pitch again. Fouled back off the screen, almost to the identical spot here over to the right side, right above the first base dugout here for the Sweets. As it looks like another bullpen pitcher has begun to throw there for the Gray Wolves, a right-hander, Can't get that number. We'll try and grab that for you as quickly as possible. As now the 1-2 pitch laced into center field in for a hit. Ducking towards right center as that one is going to get almost by the center fielder Moody. Plays it back in. They're going to hold Dougherty at third as one runs across. And Jeffrey Mitchell Jr. slaps one towards right center field in for a double as he has himself his second hit on the afternoon and has the Gray Wolves in business here in the bottom of the 8th. Now 2-5.
The third baseman, number 8, Jack Johnson.
So they collect their second run of the ball game, with Jordan Barkus coming in to score from third. And Dylan Doherty moving over to third base. Still nobody out, and Zach Johnson coming to the plate. And a chance with the score now 5-2 to at the very least draw within one, possibly even tie this ball game should Zach Johnson reach. He's the tying run. Coming to the plate as Johnston will fire a fastball right through the heart of the plate, and it's 0-1. So Zach Johnson versus Ryan Johnston. A slight variation with an extra T thrown in there for the Sweets pitcher, who now checks the runners. Comes set at the belt. Kicks and fires. Breaking ball. Catches the outside edge. Johnson thought that was a little high as well, as he has a couple words for the home plate umpire, Andrew Burke. It looked like he just tried to tell him, man, I cannot hit that pitch. Not only outside and off the plate, but also around the letters. So hopefully going to get a better strike call here, 0-2, as he will take his time stepping out of the box. Don't want to necessarily show up the umpires. Looked like he had a couple words for Burke, even now stepping back in the box. But definitely want him to know that you can't be expanding the strike zone in this time of the game. So now the 0-2 pitch fouled off over to the right side will get out of play. And we'll do it again, 0-2. As Johnson is 1 for 3 this afternoon. A single in the 6th. Grounded out to shortstop back in the 4th and struck out looking in the 1st. So much like Mitchell Jr., hoping for that second hit in a dire situation here for the Gray Wolves. As he now slaps this one again off to the right, continuing to battle here. And it looks like the pitcher Johnston not being able to put any pitches by these Gray Wolves hitter. Before we saw Barkus in a 3-1 count put one off the right field wall. Doherty singled through the left side, and Mitchell Jr. a double. As that bullpen down in Walla is frantically heating up. And so now the 0-2 pitch. Johnson again fouling this one off to the right side, and maybe now the crowd beginning to get a little more into it. Some more encouragement coming from this packed house here at Osland Field. Haven't seen too many of these, but definitely do appreciate the support from the Gresham faithful in this beautiful Sunday afternoon, as the shadows have continued to creep out onto the field, more near the third base side as well as first base, kind of a gap in the middle. As now the 0-2 pitch on the way from Johnson. Fastball, ring him up, strike 3, call on the inside. And Johnson will have something to say for Andrew Burke. It did look like that pitch was a lot better than the 0-1 call. However, and now Andrew Burke is going to have to go give a warning to Justin Barkus. At the very least, it looks like he's giving him a warning for talking back about balls and strikes, as Johnson is down for the first out of this inning. And so now hoping that Nick Snyder, along with the rest of the Gray Wolves offense, does not let this type of moment get into their psyche. At the very least, don't let Andrew Burke dictate their own strike zone. As Ryan Johnston collects his first strikeout in this appearance here today. So Barkus has his chat with Burke. He puts his name down, whatever the umpires do to mark that warning in for Zach Johnson. And now it'll be up to Nick Snyder here, who is 0 for 2, does have a sacrifice fly, and could very well use that in this type of situation with one out and runners on second and third. First pitch on the way, changeup misses outside, as this one's 1-0. Flew out to right field back in the 4th, also struck out in the 1st to the starter Jackson Weig. As now the 1-0 here from Johnston, chopped over to the left side and fouled back off the dugout there of the Gresham Gray Wolves on the third base line to even the count at a ball and a strike. So Snyder with that average now down to 250, came into play at 265. although has seen a lot more starts, especially in the DH as well as first base position. So now the pitch on the way, bounced in the dirt, kicks away from the catcher, McIver. Here comes the runner from third, and he's going to be safe with a foot first slide. Dylan Doherty taking advantage of the ball in dirt. And now at 5-3, the Gray Wolves draw closer. And really a great opportunity seized right there by Dylan Doherty. We've seen the hustle come into play so many times throughout this game, primarily on the defensive end, but also being able to scrap, work a couple of walks, finds himself his first base knock, and then is able to score his second run of the ball game. 2 out of those 3 runs scored here by Dylan Doherty, and now with the runner moving up to third base and Jeff Mitchell Jr., an opportunity for Nick Snyder as he swings through a slider there, 2-2. So the count all evened up here. Nick Snyder looked like he took a big cut at that one as he kind of nods to himself after that at bat, recognizing he needs to shorten up right here, 2 strikes. So now the 2-2 pitch here from Johnson. Fastball, chase the ladder right up high, and Nick Snyder is down on strikes. Back-to-back strikeouts here from Ryan Johnston, who at the beginning of this inning looked like he couldn't find an out, and now gets back-to-back Ks here to Zach Johnson and now Nick Snyder. And that very well could be the final pitch that he throws, as it looked like we're going to have a pitching change here at Osland Field. The head coach for the Sweets, Frank Mutz, is out on the mound. He'll make the call to the bullpen, and we'll take a quick break here on Gresham Gray Wolves Baseball Live. Again, the Gray Wolves now trail it just 5-3. I'm Evan Giddings. Don't go anywhere. And so now we're done with the pitching change. It is Kyle Narahara on the mound for the Walla Walla Sweets, the closer for the Sweets, in a little earlier than I think his head coach Kyle Mutz thought he might have to use him, as the first pitch on the way here to Josh Adams is a fastball high and outside, 1-0. The 6'4", 230-pound right-hander from Castro Valley, California, has recorded a West Coast League high 6 saves so far this season. Now catcher set up inside as Josh Adams grounds this one over to the right. First baseman has it. Kyle Rutherford will go to the pitcher, Narahara covering first base, and that will end the inning. But not before the Gray Wolves strike for 2. Barkus leads off with a double, followed by a single from Doherty. Both those runners come in, one on a wild pitch and the other on an RBI double from Jeffrey Mitchell Jr. as the Gray Wolves draw closer. They now trail at 5-3 as we head to the top of the 9th here at Osland Field. Ben Baird, Ryan Johnston, and Connor Doyle all due up that inning for the Walla Walla Sweets. as we could take a quick break here on Gresham Grey Wolves Baseball Live. And so now we're ready to begin this top of the ninth inning. It'll be Jeremy Smith on the mound for the Gresham Grey Wolves, coming out of the bullpen to relieve Gabe Benavides, who concludes this game here. 8 strong innings, 4 hits allowed, 5 runs though. Only 2 of them earned, however, as he really did a good job of getting himself out of situations that he put himself in. And what I mean by that is that unless the defense was involved in 3 errors tonight for the Grey Wolves, Benavides did not allow that many base runners, as the first pitch on the way here from Jeremy Smith to Ben Baird is a ball low in the dirt, 1-0. He gave up the leadoff double back in the third inning to Connor Doyle before eventually coming around to score. That was an earned run. And Willie McIver in the fourth, who singled to begin that inning, eventually came around to score. That was earned as well, as now Smith delivers a strike on the outside corner here to Baird to even the count at a ball and a strike. Apart from that, though, Rutherford, he reached on an error. Muzi scored on an error eventually, and then Muzi again came around in the 8th inning as this one is lofted out into right center field. Incoming Adams out from right, fighting the sun, but is able to make this catch for the first out. So an excellent job to battle that overbearing sun beating down upon the right side of this field. Barkis over at second base along with the first baseman Snyder. Looked like the shadows have crept out a little bit into right field, but definitely still a difficult matchup there between the sun and Josh Adams out in right field. And so now the first pitch on the way here from Smith to the DH Ryan Johnston, who now is actually, he came in that last inning as a pitcher. First pitch is on the way, and that was a ball high, 1-0. As now Smith working quickly, has his sign and delivers a fastball again. That misses, 2 balls and no strikes. So Johnston, who came in at the end of that inning for Dimlow, did not record an out. And in fact, just threw a couple of wild pitches as Jeremy Smith catches the inside edge with a fastball, 2-1. So allows both of those runners to score. Those are both charged to Dimlow as he surrendered 3 hits. Although ended up getting 2 strikeouts, as this one is belted to deep left field. This one's got a chance, and it is off the base of the wall. Or rather, called a foul ball. I thought that one was down the left field line off the scoreboard type area. However, ruled foul there by Andrew Burke, the home plate umpire. So a bit of a break there for the Grey Wolves. That this one hooks just foul down the left field line. Would have easily have gone for extra bases. Is that off the bat? I thought that one might have had a chance. So nonetheless, Ryan Johnston proving that pitchers certainly are hitters as he takes a fastball that misses just below the knees there, full count. And so Johnston steps back in the box. Smith has his sign. From the stretch, kicks and fires, fastball misses low. And that'll go for ball 4 as Ryan Johnston reaches base for the first time this afternoon. Was previously 0 for 3 with 3 groundouts, but is able to work his way aboard in a full count walk, now bringing the left fielder Connor Doyle to the plate. Doyle had a double out to right center field in the third. Like I mentioned, it came around to score. That was one of the earned runs for Gabe Benavides. Since then, a pop out and a ground out back to the pitcher as Jeremy Smith buries a slider blocked here by Cairo for ball one. Actually, in fact, they've called a balk now. I'm not sure when or how the call was made or for what reason, as Cairo will go out and kind of give some words of encouragement to his pitcher there, Jeremy Smith. The field umpire that time, Tim Gerkman, apparently made the call. And so the pitch will not count officially 0-0 here to Connor Doyle. Nobody up in either bullpen, as it appears this is the pitches we're going to get. Jeremy Smith at the back end for the Grey Wolves and Narahara for the Sweets, as this one is lofted out down the right field line. Giving chase is Josh Adams, and he will make the catch right near the foul line on the chalk. Make a strong throw in to keep that runner at second base, as Ben Baird has to hold up. Looked like he thought that one might have dropped that time, but taking a base hit and possible run away from the Walla Walla Sweets is Josh Adams. So after misplaying a ball back in the fourth out in right field, Josh Adams has been nothing but money out in right, ranging both to his right and left in order to make fly ball catches, and now records the second out here in the ninth. So Zach Weiss to the plate, the 9-hole hitter for the Sweets. First pitch on the way here from Smith, misses low and outside there, ball one. As Weiss also hitless tonight, although did have a sacrifice bunt back in the third. Grounded up to the third baseman, Zach Johnson, back in the fifth. And struck out, was a strikeout victim of Benavides, who on the afternoon collected 4. That was back in the seventh inning. And now here in the ninth, second pitch on the way is a fastball that misses high, 2-0. So Walla Walla with the lead, 5-3. Although the Grey Wolves hold the hit advantage, and really that's where those unearned runs have come back to bite them. 3 errors so far for the Grey Wolves have led to 3 unearned runs, as this one is swung on and missed. Fastball blown by Weiss on the outside edge, and it's 2 balls and a strike. So just 4 hits for the Walla Walla Sweets to 5 runs, and 6 hits for the Grey Wolves, only being able to muster 3 runs. And so now the pitch on the way here to Weiss, popped up over towards the right side, going to get out of play right in front of that bullpen area for the Sweets. And right out beyond the outstretched hands of a, in that case, unlucky fan, as some kids will scamper down to it. And it's good to see the amount of fans not only out here at the ballpark, but being able to stay throughout this entire game, showing their support for the Gresham Grey Wolves. And so now the pitch on the way. 2-2 fastball. Ring him up. Strike 3 called. Outside corner right on the paint. And Zach Weiss is retired. So that'll end the side. 1 runner left aboard in scoring position as we head to the bottom of the ninth for the Gresham Grey Wolves. Last chance to dance here. Ryan Smith, Mark Cardinelli, and Matt Cairo due up to the plate for the Grey Wolves as we take a break here on Grey Wolves Live. They trail it 5-3. And so now we're set to go here in this bottom of the ninth inning. The Grey Wolves trail by 2, 5-3 here at Osland Field. as Kyle Naruhara, the closer for the Walla Walla Sweets, is back out on the mound. He will try and lock down his seventh save, on the season, as he misses with a fastball outside to Ryan Smith here 1-0. 1-3 on the evening for Ryan Smith as he's got a single in the fifth, swings through this fastball right here to even the count at a ball and a strike. Also with a stolen base, that was his 7th on the summer season. Now, looking ahead, the Gray Wolves will be back out here tomorrow night as Ryan Smith shows bunt but pulls back and takes a fastball outside 2-1. Facing the Walla Walla Sweets here on July 4th at 7:05 p.m. Definitely don't want to miss that game. So go to GreshamGrayWolves.com to collect your tickets. Get $2 off every purchase as Ryan Smith takes ball 3 upstairs here, 3-1. This is going to be the 4th of July home series for the Gray Wolves as they're here on the 4th and the 5th before taking off for their 4th road trip. Another long one of the season as Ryan Smith takes a fastball inside here that misses, and that's ball 4 as he will head down to first base, and a possible spark here in this bottom of the 9th inning with Mark Cardinale coming to the plate. We've seen crazier things happen here at Osland Field. I alluded to that 6-run rally in the bottom of the 9th that happened just over a week ago. Also the night before, in fact, the Gray Wolves walked off on a stolen base. Ryan Smith stole home, who's now on first base, as Mark Cardinale takes a fastball on the outside corner, 0-1. Ryan Smith stole home in the bottom of the 12th. And along with a 6-run rally the day after, the Gray Wolves were able to come back and take 2. And at that time, I believe from the Wenatchee Apple Sox, or rather the Kelowna Falcons that was, as Cardinale swings through this fastball and it's quickly 0-2. And so now Naruhara with his sign. Kicks and fires. Fastball tipped just off the glove there of the catcher, McIver. And Cardinale stays alive. He's 0 for 3. Grounded out to shortstop back in the 2nd. Flew out to right field in the 5th and grounded out to third base back in the 7th inning. And so now Naruhara with his sign. McIver set up on the outside corner. Breaking ball too high there as it broke back in towards the plate. In fact, kind of buckled Cardinale, but nonetheless ran high around the letters. And a good take there, 1-2. So now Ryan Smith takes his lead from first. Big breaking ball this time as Cardinale has to duck out of the way of that one. Again, might have been fooled a bit, but nonetheless, there's been a couple of breaking balls we've seen inside here this afternoon that have nearly clipped a couple of these Gray Wolves hitters. So now 2-2 pitch on the way. Fastball belted deep to left field, but down the left field line, it's going to hook foul. Out beyond the fence. At the very least would have been off the wall down the 330 line. However, hooked it a little too much, did Mark Cardinale, and that's just a long foul ball. So Naruhara, he'll get a new piece of leather, has his sign, kicks and fires, check swing. They said he did go. Actually, in fact, Andrew Burke made the call. Looked like he pointed to something. I guess ruled it a ball as Cardinale did not go around, and Ryan Smith is able to advance on the ball in dirt. So a wild pitch there for Naruhara, and the count runs full. So a situation where Cardinale, I thought, might have even gone around. He's able to play it to his advantage and allow the runner to move into scoring position. So Ryan Smith now on second base. Payoff pitch on the way from Naruhara. Breaking ball, inside corner, ring him up, and that is just a borderline call that we've seen all night long from Andrew Burke. A slider that bent back in over the inside edge. Has not been afraid to ring guys up. And Mark Cardinale again falls victim. It was Zach Johnson last inning. And now Mark Cardinale here in the bottom of the 9th. And so now number 28, Connor Zickafoos will pinch hit for Matt Cairo. Generally playing third base as well as first for the Gray Wolves during his at-bats. Hasn't really had as many over these last couple of weeks. At least the at-bats coming somewhat sporadically. But Zickafoose owns a 281 average through 14 games. Only 32 at-bats, so like I said, kind of coming in and out of the order. But 9 hits as he now takes a fastball low and inside, 1-0. Zickafoose, 1 triple, 4 RBIs, as well as a walk and just 1 strikeout. So I think that's what Justin Barkis really admires about his ability to come off the bench and not go down looking or swinging. So the 1-0 pitch on the way. Fastball runs low and outside. As Zickafoose with a good eye there, 2-0. As Matt Cairo's day is done. 0 for 3. Couple of groundouts and a strikeout looking there for Matt Cairo. That was another actually borderline call there from Andrew Burke. That came back in the 5th inning. And so Zickafoose, a tall left-hander, open stance. 2-0 pitch on the way from Narahara, way outside there, and it's 3-0. Narahara, only 3 walks so far this summer season. Has already surrendered 1 to Ryan Smith. That was on 5 pitches. And there's only been 2 other appearances he's made where he's walked a batter. Walked 2 against Wenatchee back on June 15th and walked 1 against Victoria on June 5th. That's now the 3-0 pitch on the way, and that misses high and outside as Narahara frustrated with either the strike zone or himself, as the crowd will get into this one and Connor Zickafoose will take his base. And so now, looks like Jordan Barkis will be coming to the plate as he'll head down and have a little chat with his brother, first base coach, head coach, Justin Barkis. And it also looks like we're going to have a pinch runner. Makes sense as Michael Breen will head down, will grab the helmet of Zickafoose as he does his job. The tying runner gets on base there. And now Michael Breen will head to first base with 1 out. As also somewhat of a small mound visit there. Looked like the pitching coach, Michael Jillian, will go out to the mound. He'll have a quick chat with his closer. He'll be trying to calm him down a little bit, especially after looking a little flustered after that last ball he threw, either frustrated with himself or the strike zone. Nonetheless, based off of the statistics alone, it does not look like Narahara has had too many 4-pitch walks this summer. So, nonetheless, everyone's back in the dugout. Play is resumed. Jordan Barkis to the plate. Left-handed batter, 1 for 2. Had that loud double to begin the bottom of the 8th inning. And now runners take off. Double steal on, throw down to third base, and it is not in time. Ryan Smith over to third base. Michael Breen took a couple of steps towards second, but alertly retreated back to second, or rather back to first. As we've seen a lot of the double steal situations, the catcher will throw to second, understanding that the runner on first doesn't have that kind of jump. So nonetheless, Ryan Smith steals third here with 1 out. And a very aggressive play there from Ryan Smith. A lot could have gone wrong there, but nonetheless puts himself in a position to draw the Gray Wolves within 1. It's another pitch on the way to Barkis. Throw down to second base as Breen is off, and he is out at second base. It looked like he was able to slide to the outside part of the bag, but a strong throw from McIver was off to the shortstop side as Baird gloved it on the backhand and was able to somehow apply the tag quick enough to get Breen at second. And so that's the second out of the inning, and there goes the tying run for the Gray Wolves. And maybe the most important run now with 2 outs is Jordan Barkis will simply just look to extend this ball game as long as he can. Unfortunate, as it looked like Michael Breen in that situation, at least on the previous pitch, certainly would have had the base stolen if he had knew that it was a double steal. As now Barkis lays this one, hot shot over to the left side, but out of play and foul, right near the head of one of the Gray Wolves fans. I hope that's a humorous point out towards Jordan Barkis. And hopefully it will go as a souvenir to some lucky kid. Nonetheless, very scary moment over there as now Barkis will have to refocus. The 1-2 pitch from Narahara. Fastball way outside. Good take there from the second baseman for Gresham, as the count runs even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. In addition to that double in the 8th, came around to score, and that was the second run. Now the 3 for the Gray Wolves as the 2 strikes swung on and missed. Climbed the ladder that time. Narahara goes upstairs, and Jordan Barkis is down on strikes. His second of the inning, and that will end the ball game. The Gray Wolves fall 5-3 here at Osland Field in the first game of this 3-game series on this July 4th weekend here to the Walla Suites. And we're going to recap this game with you as quickly as we can here on now unofficially Gray Wolves post-game live. Here the scoring started for the Walla Suites in the third inning when Connor Doyle led off with a double against Gabe Benavides. Eventually, after he was sacrificed at third base by Zach Weiss, came in to score an RBI groundout from Jaron Duran. And then at that point, did not wait long, just one more inning in the fourth. Willie McIver led off with a single against Benavides, and after a misplay out in right field, an E9 by Josh Adams allowed Cole Rutherford to get to second base and moved McIver to third. A squeeze play allowed McIver to come in to score. And this is kind of an interesting play, probably the strangest we had all night. Rutherford tried to take home on the squeeze. He was off on the pitch, rounded third, was coming home. Nick Snyder, who caught the ball on the out there from Benavides, alertly threw the ball towards home, right to the chest of Cairo, and on the collision, he dropped it. So that allowed 2 runs to score in that inning. Eventually it was 3-0. And then they extended their lead in the sixth after Alex Musi was hit by a pitch and came in on an RBI fielder's choice from Ben Baird. So at that point, it was 4-0, in which the bottom of that frame, the Gray Wolves were able to strike back. Dylan Doherty walked in a full count, was sacrificed over to second base by Jeffrey Mitchell Jr. Zach Johnson singled him to third before Nick Snyder lofted a sacrifice fly out to deep right field to bring in the first run this afternoon for the Gray Wolves. And then we move on to the eighth, as in the top of the frame, the Walla got their 5th run on a walk eventually that came around to score in the form of Alex Musi. He scored 2 runs this afternoon for the Sweets. Willie McIver doubled him to third, and then a sacrifice fly from Cole Rutherford was able to bring him in. At that point, it was 5-1, and the Gray Wolves were able to strike back in the bottom of the 8th to put themselves in a position to possibly return in this ball game. As 3 hits in a row, Barkis with a double, Dylan Doherty with a single, and then Jeffrey Mitchell Jr. doubled to right center field to bring in Barkis for the second run of the ball game. And then at that point, Dylan Doherty, who was at third base, scored on a wild pitch during the at-bat of Zach Johnson, who came in. That brought the game within 2, was 5-3. At which point the Walla Sweets went quietly in the top of the 9th. And then it was up to the bottom of the 9th for the Gray Wolves. Unfortunately, right here, unable to come through. They had an opportunity. 2 walks put runners in scoring position in the form of Zikafus and then the pinch runner Michael Breen, who was the tying run. Ryan Smith got to third on a stolen base. That very next pitch, Michael Breen tried to steal second base but was thrown out by the catcher Willie McIver on a strong throw, eventually leading to the demise and the loss of the Gray Wolves. So the Gray Wolves fall 5-3 here at Osland Field. Gabe Benavides goes 8 innings, gets the loss unfortunately as he surrendered 5 runs, only 2 of them earned. As Jackson Weig will pick up the win, and Kyle Narahara, will collect his 8th save on the West Coast League season. So the Gray Wolves fall to 10-15, and the Walla Sweets go to 16-12 here in the first half of the South Division of the West Coast League. Gray Wolves fall now to 5.5 games behind the leader, I believe the Yakima Valley Pippins, as we'll be right back out here on Monday night on July 4th at 7:05 p.m. in the second game of this 3-game series. Again, my name is Evan Giddings, having broadcasted for you tonight here on Gresham Gray Wolves Baseball Live. It has been a pleasure as the Gray Wolves unfortunately fall 5-3.